I work the front desk at a boutique hotel in Amsterdam. Last summer, an American couple checked in and immediately asked where the ice machine was. I told them we don't have one. The husband looked genuinely confused. How do you keep drinks cold? I explained that Europeans don't typically use ice in drink. His wife interrupted. That can't be sanitary. Warm beverages breed bacteria. I assured her our refrigerators work fine. She wasn't convinced. In America, we have health codes. Ice kills germs. I didn't know where to start. They spent their entire stay drinking room temperature bottled water they bought from a convenience store, convinced our European refrigeration methods were unsafe. They left a review warning other Americans to bring a cooler. A bartender in Munich told me an American ordered a beer and asked for it in a clean glass. When she brought it, he inspected it under the light, found a water spot, and demanded a sterilized one. She brought another. He asked if they use bleach or just soap. She explained their industrial dishwasher sanitizes at high temperatures. He said, "But do you hand dry them? Because air drying leaves residue." She told him it's actually more sanitary to air dry. He requested a disposable cup instead. They don't have disposable cups. He drank from the bottle, visibly uncomfortable, muttering about European health standards. This happens constantly. Americans arrive convinced European simplicity equals backwardness. I'm a pharmacist in Copenhagen. An American tourist rushed in frantically asking for Advil. I showed him ibuprofen. He said, "No, I need actual Advil. The American kind." I explained ibuprofen is the generic name, same medication. He insisted it wasn't the same. Generic means lower quality. I looked it up. I told him that's not how pharmaceuticals work in Denmark. All medications meet identical standards regardless of branding. He accused me of trying to upsell him on European knockoffs. I showed him the ingredient list, identical to American Advil. He photographed it and said he'd verify it online. 20 minutes later, he returned, sheepish, and bought the ibuprofen. Before leaving, he asked why we hide the real brand names. I told him we don't prioritize corporate branding over chemistry. He said that seemed communist. My cousin manages a parking garage in Barcelona. An American pulled in, took a ticket, parked, then returned to the entrance booth confused. He asked where he pays. She said he pays when he exits. He didn't understand. What if I don't come back? She explained the gate won't open without payment. He found this suspicious. So you're holding my car hostage until I pay? That's extortion. She clarified that parking garages operate this way globally. He disagreed. In America, you pay up front like a civilized society. She asked how they calculate time if you pay first. He paused, then said, "They estimate." She explained that exit payment is more accurate and fair. He spent 15 minutes arguing that prepayment prevents corruption because attendants can't change the price later. She gave up. When he left, he paid, then complained to her manager that the system was designed to scam tourists. The manager is also Spanish. They both watch American tourists have this exact meltdown monthly. I work at a train station in Prague. An American asked why our tickets don't have assigned seat. I explained that regional trains operate on open seating. He said that's chaos. I told him it works efficiently, people board and sit wherever. He insisted it would cause fights. What if two people want the same seat? I said whoever sits first gets it. He found this unacceptable. There's no accountability, no system. I explained this is the system, simple and functional. He demanded to speak with someone who could assign him a seat. I told him nobody assigns seats on regional trains. He asked if he could pay extra for assignment. No. He bought the ticket, visibly stressed, and asked if he should arrive extra early to secure a good seat. I said arriving 5 minutes before departure is fine. He showed up an hour early anyway. The train was half empty. He sat alone in a 6-seat compartment, guarding it like territory. When someone tried to sit nearby, he told them he'd claimed the section. They moved, confused. He spent the journey anxiously watching the door. I run a small bakery in Lisbon. An American came in and asked if our pastries were made fresh daily. I said yes, every morning. He asked what time we bake them. I told him we start at 4 in the morning. He nodded, then asked, "But when do you put the production date on them?" I was confused. He clarified, "Like the label, with the timestamp, for legal purposes." I explained we don't label individual pastries. Everything's baked fresh and sold same day. He looked alarmed. "How do customers know when it was made?" I said they trust us. He laughed nervously. "That's not a system. What if something sits for 2 days?" I told him we sell out daily. "Nothing sits." He didn't believe me. "You're saying you've never had leftovers?" "Sometimes, yes, and we donate them." He asked how donation centers verify freshness without timestamp. I said they trust bakeries to donate edible food. This bothered him deeply. In America, every food item has production dates, expiration dates, batch numbers. It's called accountability. I pointed out that fresh bakery items don't need that. He said, "That's exactly what someone selling old bread would say." He left without buying anything. My friend works at a cafe in Stockholm. An American ordered coffee and asked where the flavors were. She pointed to milk and sugar on the counter. He clarified, "No, like hazelnut, vanilla, caramel." She explained they serve coffee, just coffee. He looked disappointed. "You don't have flavored syrups?" "No." He asked why. She said because people drink coffee for coffee flavor here. He said that seemed limiting and asked if it was a supply chain issue. She assured him it's a cultural preference. He ordered black coffee, tasted it, and immediately asked for sweetener. She pointed to the sugar. He meant artificial sweetener. They don't stock it. He asked why not. She explained that Swedes don't typically use artificial sweeteners. He said, "Because you don't have diabetes problems like America?" She didn't respond. He spent 10 minutes Googling where to buy sweetener packets, then returned the next day with his own. He loudly announced to other customers that he'd solved the cafe's sugar problem. I'm a tour guide in Florence. During a walking tour, an American asked why Italian streets don't have sidewalk. I explained that many medieval streets are shared pedestrian vehicle spaces. He said that's dangerous. I told him cars drive slowly and yield to pedestrians. He didn't believe me. There's no painted lines. No rules. I said the rule is mutual respect and awareness. He called that vague. Throughout the tour, he kept stepping aside dramatically whenever a scooter passed, as if narrowly avoiding death. Other tourists walked normally. He photographed a street with no sidewalk and said he'd report it to someone. I asked who. He wasn't sure, maybe the American embassy? I told him the embassy doesn't regulate Italian urban planning. He said they should. At the tour's end, he asked if Florence had considered modernizing its streets. I explained that preservation of historical architecture is a priority. He said progress matters more than history. I reminded him he'd paid to tour historical sites. He said that's different. I manage a small grocery in Vienna. An American asked where the carts were. I pointed to the stack outside. He went out, then returned asking why they're chained. I explained you insert a coin, which releases the cart, and you get the coin back when you return it. He said that's overcomplicated. Why not just let people take carts? I explained it prevents cart theft and ensures returns. He argued that stores should hire staff to retrieve carts. I told him this system is free and effective. He insisted it's nickel-and-diming customers. I clarified he gets the coin back. He said it's the principle: Europeans overthink everything. He refused to use a cart and carried items in his arms. After dropping a jar of jam, he reconsidered. He inserted a coin, took a cart, shopped, then forgot to return it. He lost his euro. The next day, he returned asking for a refund on his deposit. I explained he abandoned the cart. He said nobody told him he had to return it. I reminded him that's how he gets the coin back, it's the entire point. He accused the store of hiding fees in fine print. I work at a bike rental shop in Brussels. An American asked to rent a bike and immediately wanted a helmet. I told him helmets aren't typically required or provided in Belgium. He was shocked. That's illegal. You can't rent bikes without safety equipment. I explained that most Europeans cycle without helmets. It's completely normal and legal. He insisted I was wrong. There must be a law. Biking without a helmet is reckless. I showed him locals cycling past, none wearing helmet. He said they were breaking the law. I pulled up Belgian traffic regulations on my phone proving helmets aren't mandatory. He read it, frowned, then said, "Just because it's legal doesn't make it smart. This is why Europe has higher injury rates." I told him Europe actually has lower cycling injury rates due to better infrastructure. He dismissed this. That's propaganda. Without helmets, injuries are guaranteed. He asked if he could bring his own helmet from America. Of course. He returned an hour later wearing a massive motorcycle helmet, far beyond what cyclists use. He rode around Brussels looking like an astronaut, getting stared at constantly, absolutely convinced he was the only person doing it right. I work reception at a holiday park in the Netherlands. An American family checked in for a week and asked about the trash system. I explained that we separate recycling, paper, plastic, glass, organic, and general waste. The father's face fell. That's 5 bins. Yes. He asked if it's required. I said it's standard practice across the Netherlands. He said it seemed excessive. In America, we have 1 bin. Maybe 2 if you're fancy. I explained that separation improves recycling efficiency and reduces landfill waste. He said it's too complicated for a vacation. His wife agreed. We're here to relax, not take a sustainability course. I offered a simple chart showing what goes where. He glanced at it and said, "Do you have anyone who can just do this for us?" No. They spent the week throwing everything into general waste. On checkout, he complained that European environmentalism is performative and designed to make tourists feel guilty. I didn't argue. Looking back, the pattern is obvious. Americans don't necessarily think their way is better, they think it's the only logical way. When confronted with simpler European systems, they assume something's missing. They add layers of complexity that don't exist, create problems that aren't there, and exhaust themselves defending solutions to invented issues. It's not malicious. It's just confident confusion meeting cultural difference head-on. Got more stories about Americans who turned simple European norms into elaborate mysteries? I'll keep sharing as long as people keep providing material, which, based on experience, will be forever.